Taittinger, refined floral and quietly brilliant. But is this legacy champagne just elegance in the bottle? Or does it actually earn its place in your glass? By the end of this episode, you will know how it scores across 5 Sip Me Maybe categories: grape, taste, history, price, and how it fights in its weight class. Welcome to Sip Me Maybe, the podcast where we swirl, sip, and spill the truth on what's in your glass. I'm Julia, and here we take wine from grape to the glass and rate everything in between. Before we begin, just a quick disclaimer. I am not a sommelier, just a wine lover with curiosity and opinions. This is a judgment-free zone, no snobbery, no side-eye. Hey, wine list sometimes scares me too. I'll share what I'm tasting, and I encourage you to share what lights up your palate. Let's sip, learn, and enjoy this pour together. Today's bottle, Taittinger Brut Réserve. This isn't the bottle that shouts. It's the one that smiles subtly, slides over, and says just enough. Taittinger doesn't do flash. It does finesse. It's the kind of champagne that feels like good posture, quietly elegant, naturally assured. You don't need to be told it's special. You just feel it. Our friend's story begins in 1734, a full generation before Veuve Clicquot uncorked its first bottle. Founded as Forest and for Knox, the house is among Champagne's oldest, crediting Laurent Perrier, Bollinger, Billy-Cassamont, and even Moët, blockbuster Impérial cuvée. Back then, champagne was only evolving from a still wine into the sparkling icon we know today. But here's the twist. Where it began, champagne wasn't sparkling on purpose. The bubbles were actually a happy accident, a result of cold winters, pausing fermentation, only for it to restart come spring in sealed bottles. Much of that shift came from Benedictine monks experimenting with cork closures, stronger glass, and cooler chalk cellars to tame the wine's natural effervescence. Think Dom Perignon fine-tuning blending and the nuns of Saint Pierre perfecting the riddling. Those very chalk tunnels called criers are where Taittinger bottles still slumber. Fast forward to 1932. Enter Pierre Taittinger, a cavalry officer who fell for the region during World War I. He bought the business along with the Château de la Marqueterie, a hilltop manor whose vineyards had been tended by monks since the 13th century. Pierre made a daring call. While most grand marques landed on Pinot Noir for muscle, he championed Chardonnay for lift and longevity. That decision stamped the house style, floral, racy, refined, and set Taittinger apart from its peers. The 21st century nearly ended the family chapter. In 2005, the house was sold to an American private equity group, sparkling outrage in champagne. But just a year later, Pierre Emmanuel Taittinger, Pierre's grandson, spearheaded a dramatic payback. He was aided by Crédit Agricole, France's largest cooperative bank, nicknamed La Banque Verte for its farming roots. The regional arm financed the deal, restoring the Maison's independence. Today, the rings belong to Vitalie Taittinger, Pierre Emmanuel's daughter, who guards tradition while nudging the house forward. In a landscape dominated by luxury conglomerates, Taittinger's family ownership and its centuries-old monk-made cellars remain central to every bottle's quiet confidence. So let's talk about terroir and craftsmanship. My friend here, Taittinger, owns over 700 acres of vineyards, including prized plots in Côte de Blancs and Mont de Remy, two of the Champagne's most revered subdivisions. But what truly sets them apart? Actually, deep investment in estate-grown grapes, meticulous vineyard care, and unwavering commitment to long lease aging. The Brut Réserve slumbers nearly 4 years on the lease. amongst double the legal minimum. That's how you get finer bubbles, silkier mousse, and the toasty brioche-kissed finish champagne lovers dream about. But the magic starts below the vines. Beneath lies ancient chalky limestone formed from fossilized seashells when this entire region was once a prehistoric seabed. That chalk isn't just passive bedrock, it's why the vines thrive. It acts like a sponge, soaking up rainfall and slowly releasing water to the roots during the dry spell, essential in the region where summers can be dry, and unpredictable. It also reflects sunlight onto the vines, helping grapes ripen evenly in Champagne's cool, northerly climate. And, perhaps most importantly, it lends the telltale mineral tension, the dry, clean backbone you feel more than taste in the best bottles. Weather here is a balancing act. Cold winters, damp springs, and moderate rainfall, and just enough summer sun to coax that ripeness without overindulgence. Chardonnay loves Côte de Blancs for its chalk purity, and elegance. On the other hand, Pinot Noir thrives in Mont de Remise, where more clay-laced soils offer structure and depth. Taittinger isn't a grower champagne. There is no RM on the bottle. It's Grand Marque, a prestige house classified as an M, négociant manipulant. That means they grow some of their own grapes, and in Taittinger's case, they grow a lot, over 700 acres, unusually high for such a big house. But they also purchase grapes from dozens of growers across the region to meet the production scale and, maintain the consistency. By contrast, a grower champagne labeled RM, Ricolant Manipulant, is made by a small producer who only uses grapes from their own vineyards. So, while Taittinger shows more estate-grown commitment than many big houses, it doesn't meet the definition of grower champagne. Taittinger Brut Réserve is Chardonnay forward blend. The exact breakdown: 40% Chardonnay, 35% Pinot Noir, and 25% of Pinot Meunier. That high proportion of Chardonnay is a signature move for Taittinger. It shows. Chardonnay brings zesty citrus, white flowers, and that signature chalky cleanness that dances on the finish. It also gives the wine its elegance, vertical lift, and age-worthiness. Pinot Noir adds quiet structure and backbone. Subtle cherry and raspberry on the mid-palate, with a touch of grip that helps the finish linger. Meunier, the unsung hero, fills in the blanks. It brings approachability, soft stone fruit, and plush, almost creamy texture that softens the blend. Here's a fun fact for you. In Champagne, Pinot Meunier is often listed simply as Meunier. The full name means Miller's Pinot in French, because the underside of the leaves looks like dusted with flour, like a miller's apron. It's a red-skinned grape, just like Pinot Noir. Let's talk about tasting profile. The nose opens with precise freshness, green apple skin, lemon curd, and white florals. Then come layers of brioche, almondy paste, and that quiet chalky minerality. Never loud, but undeniably elegant. On the palate, it's linear and composed, with crisp acidity, lifting orchard fruit, pear, apple, maybe even white peach. The mousse is fine, grained and persistent, wrapping the mid-palate in a creaminess and feels like silk. And the finish, subtle but rewarding. Toasted hazelnut, lemon zest, and a final note of baked croissant that lingers like a soft-spoken compliment. This isn't champagne that demands attention, it earns it, slowly and gracefully. This champagne pairs beautifully with oysters, creamy cheese, roasted chicken, or even sushi. Perfect for a toast, a Tuesday, and everything in between. Let's talk about price. Retailing around $50 to $60, it delivers real quality. This isn't high-priced champagne. It's reliable, refined, and far more sophisticated than its sticker suggests. Let's talk about how my friend here fights in its weight class. Against similarly priced bottles from big houses like Moët, Piper, Alençon, Taittinger more than holds its own. It's cleaner, more precise, and has that signature Chardonnay lift that gives it an edge. Quiet luxury? Absolutely. Underrated? I think so. So let's reveal the final Sip Me Maybe score for our friend here. You're going to see the full breakdown on your screens. After rounding out the numbers and, well, a full glass of honesty, I'm giving her a polished 93. Oh well, my friend. We've sipped, we've almost swirled, and now it's time to seal the deal. I'm Julia. This was Sip Me Maybe, the podcast where every glass has a story and no sip goes unnoticed. Sip wisely, never swirl champagne, and I'll see you the next pour.